webinar, a lot of people probably came to this webinar thinking, what's going to happen to my job, or what's going to happen to the testing world, right? The same thing happened when Agile came about, right? And a lot of people are still just adopting the way they're testing they're doing. There's also this focus on continuous quality. We said earlier that DevOps is all about getting something out into production as fast as possible, from when one thing has happened in the system to production, but also ensuring quality. So how do you ensure continuous quality as well? And then there's also a demand for test automation and different automation that you're going to be doing. So with that, I'm going to let Sunil kind of walk through these three things and kind of where we're seeing testing going.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Thanks for the great introduction and setting the context there, and thanks, Jeff, as well. I think I wanted to take a minute to go back to the polls that came in earlier, and one of the things like that was catching my eye was in terms of the Agile thing, and which was as high as 90%. Which is absolutely fine, but I just wanted to little bit share my perspectives of being into the trenches, working on numerous projects, and talking to hundreds of people. See, today, whenever I'm in those meetings and those discussions, and when we ask anybody about are you doing Agile, I think the 100% of the people kind of say yes to that, which was kind of reflected in these polls as well. But really the crux lies there is when you start to go into the details and then start to see, who's really successful at doing it. And I think that's where a lot of the differentiation starts to come between the organizations. And if we start to map it on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of the maturity and the success factors that come, right, we normally typically see that about, 25% of the organizations or folks, have really invested heavily in it. They are very serious about it. And normally you would see them on a scale of 7 or 8. And there are a couple of reasons for that. Either it could be, inherently in their DNA that they could be, primarily engineering organizations, product development organizations, or, as an organization, they have, invested a lot of time and budget and got a lot of external help from the consultants and all to get it done. So that's kind of one thing I just wanted to pinpoint. And then, there are a lot of the organizations which on this scale of 1 to 10 are typically, towards the lower end of the spectrum, about 4, 5 and all. And, these guys are trying hard. And sometimes these are smaller companies as well who are trying to learn it and figure it out on their own. And that's kind of where they would stand. And then, the rest of them are kind of in the middle mark, about 5 or 6, where, they have figured out at least how to implement it. But nevertheless, wherever you are in the course of the journey, stay at it, right? It's not easy, it's hard, but it's not impossible, as well. And I think that's some of the things that, I just wanted to a little bit focus today and kind of sharing a little bit more further thoughts into it. So going back to the point that Ryan was talking about, the first one being disruption. See, the fact is that disruption is all around us, and it's a reality today, right? And disruption is happening at, various angles, and you hear the word innovation, in the smaller companies, in the big companies, and that's just the reality. We see it at Apple, they have changed, everything around the smartphones. You see around Amazon eating everybody's lunch, right? You see, things around, even in the car space, BMWs, Mercedes. It's a different type of the innovation, but innovation can be in the form of technology. It can be form of, any, mechanical product you are making. But the main goal and the main focus here is that when you start to zoom onto the customers, right, quality and convenience drives customer success. And that is really changing the way, how the products are being built, how the product managers are thinking, how the BAs are thinking. And that's really at the fundamental of making sure that you thrive in disruption. So with that particular thing, software development is also changing. And I think that's why we are having this discussion, and we have this interest from a large group of people, as Jeff pointed about, 2,000 folks registered for it. So software development is inherently changing, and automation sits at the center of it. I just want to point it out in a very clear way that that's the truth, that's the reality, right? And the variance of the automation will change, but when you are talking, really the new way of developing the software, we have to embrace automation. So Agile and DevOps is the new norm, and of all the progressive companies that we see, of all the progressive teams that we see, they have definitely made a commitment to embrace this. And Agile and DevOps is definitely the way to go, and that's what we are seeing in numerous clients. But really, the crux starts to come from our vantage point. All of us, we are all part of the same group here, the industry testing community here. So really, the thing to focus here is continuous quality. I think that's the main thing that where testing teams need to zoom and also start to focus on these words like speed, right? And while we said that everything is evolving, there are disruptions, and you heard about that, developers talking about that testing is irrelevant or slowing us down. That's not the case, right? So we have to start to put these things together about continuous quality at speed in this disruption. So one more thing, that I normally, share with the people, whenever I'm in any of these meetings and, meeting my peers in the industry, I think we all need to start to little bit challenge the definitions here. So see, everybody talks about DevOps, which is fine, right? But I think from the testing community perspective, it just gives an impression, right, as if testing is not required, right? So you just develop, you just roll it out, and you just hope that it is developed right the first time. But it couldn't be far from truth. There is nothing like you get it right the first time. So from the perspective of the correction that we need to put into the definition is move test into the middle of dev and start calling it dev test ops. So I would highly encourage everybody to wherever possible start to push this dev test ops, because that makes it amply clear that testing is required and testing sits in the middle of it. So fundamentally, whenever anything is being developed, it's really simple. You develop, you test, you roll it out, right? So I think once this definition is clear, then we are definitely on the table along with our BA friends, our PM friends, our developer friends, and testing is sitting at the table, and then we are definitely in the game. But the context from how testing needs to be done and who's going to do it, right, is altogether a totally different, question and a topic, right? And I think there, I would say that, definitely from a testing perspective, we need to step up, as a team, as a community, and make sure that, as I was pointing before, embrace this whole thing about the Agile and DevOps. So this is a very key important element in enabling the continuous quality. And with that, I'm going to get a little bit more deeper into this stuff. And rolling on to the next slide here, see, it is very important to understand what does continuous means, right? And continuous is used as a very loosely term, right, in all the things that we normally, come across. And a lot of people, talk about the different definitions, and you often hear these things about continuous delivery, continuous deployment, and all those things. So I think, at the heart of the whole thing lies that we are all trying to develop the software, develop the code, or, do the upgrades to our code or the patches to the code with the intent that it should reach our customers, right, kind of on a real-time basis and on a, nearly constant basis. And I think that is where, the struggle is, right? That is where I think also it becomes fun as well, that, how we are able to do it. So let me just kind of start to get into the details and, try to draw the fine lines between these different words and focus on this continuous thing. I'll start with this continuous delivery. So continuous delivery, when you look at today to when you look at the old world, is different, right? We talk about, rolling things out in 2-week sprint, right? There are organizations who are rolling things out daily. There are also organizations who are rolling, code out on an hourly basis. But once we compare it to our, old-fashioned or previous world, we were all, doing product releases and development, quarterly, 6 months, 1 year, but that, does not apply anymore. So from the context of the continuous delivery perspective, our goal here is to develop, the code, to test the code, and then to release it. So what you see here is, in this process, in this chain, as you move from unit test to the platform to the staging and so on, all these things are automated, right? But really, it's like these organizations, who are focused on this continuous delivery are fine taking way all the way to the production-like environment. And I think that's where, a little pause comes into place, because going into the actual production, that's where, like a lot of the other factors kick in and some type of the manual intervention starts to come in. And that could be a scenario of test data management, availability of the test environment management, or, there are certain other processes that need to be followed, right? And this transition that happens to the actual production is kind of like highlighted in that red color.
And one of the I think that for most people, if you were never really introduced to this type of staging approach, right, you may have heard or talked with your business unit or team or whatever about, hey, we're going to now deploy it into this environment or that environment, right? And there are certain things that were going on from those stages, right? I remember when I was at a retail company, we would have our unit testing was going on, then we roll that into a testing environment, right? But what you're doing here is that, just like Sunil was saying, you've got these automated checkpoints that are in place there. And then when you get to the point where when you're actually manually pushing something out into production, I think there's a lot of companies out there that are not allowing them to get to the next phase, which you're going to talk about, which is continuous deployment, is because they still want to manually push something into a production-like environment because they're just a little hesitant on getting that out into the consumer, right? They want to test it manually. They want to do some user acceptance testing that can be fully automated. They want to do those types of things, whereas you've got companies like Amazon and Netflix are doing this continuous deployment method, right?
That's right. That's right. And see the key thing here is, while the intent is very clear, right? It's like the code is being developed and tested to make it production deployment ready. So that part is absolutely, lies at the center of the whole thing. But from a continuous deployment perspective, as Ryan pointed out, I think that is the gap that is bridged here. So when you see that, between the continuous delivery and the continuous deployment, that is the minor and a subtle difference where you are able to deploy to the production environment also in an automated fashion. So it's very important, to understand the differences here, because these are the foundations to how you will set up your shop and deliver these things. The last thing that I wanted to point here is this continuous integration. So without continuous integration, none of them is possible, continuous delivery or continuous deployment. So continuous integration is really the mechanism and the process, right, that truly enables your continuous delivery and continuous deployment. And this is where, you start to get into those CI servers. This is where you start to get into what you guys were polling before about Jenkins, about Bamboo, those things. So that is what really makes it happen when the code is developed by individual developers and, they test it at that individual level or at a branch level. And when it starts to get into the CI servers and it starts to get connected to the other branches, and then the integration start to happen at the staging environments, the QA environments, and then it starts to get plugged into the main line of the code. So that whole thing is, really the continuous integration, and that enables both the continuous delivery and the continuous deployment. I hope, this at least, gets little clarity on this continuous thing. It's a very, important and a big topic. So within this limited time, at least, I just wanted to share my perspectives on, how they are different.